Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
What's up, everybody? It's time once again. We're here, we're back, and we have questions. Oh boy, do we have questions, Ian.
We do. They come from our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members. And this time we're starting off with a question for you, Kyle.
Oh no, that's never a good sign.
This one comes from Aiden7479. So, Kyle, how much have you learnt about My Hero Academia just from the BumbleKast? How confused whenever it comes up?
A little, but I think I understand the basic gist. You have like a group of high school students that's like, they've got superpowers or quirks, and they fight evil. They fight bad guys. I don't know if the bad guys are like from other schools or not. Is that like a thing? Is this like a school versus school thing? Or is this just like, yeah, the heroes are in a school and then the bad guys are just bad guys doing bad guy stuff elsewhere? Tell me, Ian.
There is some interclass and interschool rivalry, but the true villainy comes from outside the academic professions.
Okay. And so, I mean, that's pretty much it, right? Like, there's a
if you boil it all down, yeah, pretty much.
There's a frog girl, I think, and then there's another girl who's like who's pink. There's a guy named All Might. He's like Superman, except he's All Might. It's kind of like X-Men, but it's like anime. I think I get the idea. I think I got it.
You haven't said anything wrong, so.
I have some big basic idea of what this is. Yes. I even mentioned quirks, which I think is like a very specific thing for this My Hero Academia, not even for...
Yep, it's their word for powers.
Yeah. So I know a few things.
He's learning, folks. He's learning.
I know a few things once in a while. There's a few things I know in this world. Not many, but I know things. I understand. Anyway, let's get over to questions for you, Ian.
Oh, if we must.
Yes, we must. Allison S. has one. I did have weird, convoluted dreams, and last night there was a brief scene of Sonia and the Babylon Rogues sticking their heads out of a train windows before pulling a heist. This is weird because I barely know anything about these characters, but let's throw the underground fans a bone. How would this quartet do if they tried to steal the jewelry from the Mirage Express?
So we'll say it's like actual crown jewels, or like jewels that once belonged to Sonia's adoptive parents. You know, there's a legitimate reason Sonia's trying to steal these back.
Okay.
And the rogues have been commissioned by her, or she's learned through them somehow that they're going to heist. And so she's kind of going, oh, well, I have passes to the Mirage Express. I can get you on board. And each side thinks that they're playing the other when they totally aren't. And you got a running subplot of Sonic and Manic just goofing off on the train somewhere. And Sonya really doesn't get along with the rogues because they each are just uncouth in their own way. And but there's a higher goal to achieve. There's a greater calling, so she will see it through to the end. And son of a gun, she actually manages to pull it off. She gets the jewels, and then here comes the vile but inevitable betrayal. Except, it was her own vile but inevitable betrayal, because here come her brothers, and then there's some kind of extreme gear race with the Mirage Express as it goes barreling down the tracks, and it's delightful.
And then Rouge comes in and steals the jewels away and just laughs all the way home, and then it's over.
No, you need a stinger for part 2.
Yeah.
And she manages to steal them when the rogues and Sonic Underground are having their battle of the bands atop the train.
Exactly. Rouge is laughing all the way to the bank. There we go. That's where she's going. Here's one from Andrew D. You recently stated that the Warp Topaz found its way to Starline sometime between Fang number 4 and Superstars. At the end of Fang number 4, Fang says, "A shiny new upgrade from my bike." Some think this means that it was integrated into the bike, but what you're saying might instead imply he simply sold it and used the money for the upgrades. Starline seems to find it in a cave, though, so did Fang sell it to someone who put it there? Did the Warp Topaz actually fall into Starline's hands this early?
Many possible adventures can happen between the classic and modern era.
Oh, Starline is in the classic era, though. Interesting.
Didn't say that.
Well, I mean, if he found it between Fang number 4 and Superstars, then
Did he?
I don't know. That's what
didn't say that.
That's what you said. Apparently, according to Andrew, you said that.
Andrew's mistaken.
Okay.
Starline has it in the modern era. Fang has it in the classic era.
Okay.
Somewhere in between, it goes from one to the other.
The chat says, "Wow, I can hear Ian thinking about strangling Kyle from here." I don't know. I'm just asking questions. Wait a minute. That's what this whole show is. Crap.
Overachiever Kyle.
Oh,
Adding
crap.
questions to the questions.
Oh, crap.
Yo, dog, I heard you like questions, so I put some questions in your questions. This show is rated adult content for questionable situations.
Very questionable. So you can ask while you ask and answer while you answer.
So much questionable content. Anyway.
Speaking of questions, here's one from Aura. A common trope in media with characters that can absorb energy is describing the quote-unquote taste of certain sources they can siphon power from. With that in mind, what kind of wisp is Surge's favorite to eat?
In this context, maybe Ivory, since that's electrical and that's a little more her speed. That might be too mundane.
Yum.
Maybe Red Burst because it's spicy.
What's Sonic's favorite?
I mean, he does like the chili dog, so it'd be a little redundant to say Red Burst for spicy again, but maybe. Or maybe he's into like the cyan laser because it's just so energizing.
Yeah.
It's got some zip to it.
Literally. All right. We got one from Axis. Crossover time. While exploring the 7 seas in Sonic Rush Adventure, Sonic, Blaze, Tails, and Marine come face to face with the Straw Hat Pirates. How does Sonic gang mesh with Luffy's crew? Would Sonic eat a devil fruit since he can't swim anyway? Will Blaze take cooking lessons from Sanji? Could Tails and Frankie improve their watercrafts by exchanging notes? And just for the fun of it, who would win in a friendly fight between Sonic and Luffy?
I'm sorry,
Luffy.
I don't know anything about One Piece.
I mean, you could recognize that it was One Piece.
Yes, I know Luffy is a stretchy boy, and for some reason I know he also is like a big, bulky, iron steam-powered guy, and now he's a cloud.
Yeah.
And people like the cloud Luffy. That's he's a floofy Luffy. That's
Luffy, Loafy.
There's a dude with a big old nose, and there's a guy who likes to chew on swords. That I really don't know One Piece, so I am sorry. Your comparisons here, I don't know if these are like legit. Like, is Sunny a good cook?
I don't know.
Are they a bad cook, and that's the joke because Blaze is also bad at cooking?
I'm sorry.
I got nothing.
I'm sorry, Axis. I think we've said this before, though. Like you've said before, you don't know One Piece. So
what little I do know, though, a friendly brawl between Sonic and Luffy would be just delightful.
Yeah,
because Luffy's going to be doing the stretchy, punchy thing, and for Sonic to dodge expertly, possibly run across the stretchy arm. Sonic will manage to get a hit right in on Luffy, but he's all stretchy taffy, so it doesn't hurt, and Sonic gets launched away. They'd be just laughing and carrying on and having a grand old time. It'd be wholesome.
Probably. Luffy beats to study to. Brain Shark has a question.
There you go.
It's time for the conclusion of the Diamond Fathers. How would Shadow, Sonic, Silver, Knuckles, and SBL react to being the father of Lanolin's daughter? That's the difference this time. It's Lanolin.
All right. SBO, we'll go backwards through the list. SBO is surprised. He didn't even think they were friends. Have they even met?
No.
At this point?
Probably not.
But he's like, all right, your ninja training starts today.
Same as last time.
And Knuckles, again, have Knuckles and Lanolin ever exchanged words?
I was like, I don't know who you are. Get off my island.
Knuckles is like, all right, finally, someone can tag in for me. Emerald's yours now. Bye, kid.
Yes, this is the same thing as last time. Silver.
Silver, he's really confused. He didn't even think Lanolin liked him. But,
Lanolin acts like she doesn't like anybody, but I don't know. She must like somebody. Like, even as a friend.
There's no denying it, because between the two of them, this kid's hair is fantastic.
Extremely floofy.
Sonic's surprised because he wasn't even sure Lanolin liked him. Yeah, they get along, but all right, cool. Hey, kid, what's your name? That's cool. Your hair's fantastic. Not as quite as great as, your alternate universe sister over there, but, I don't have Silver's hair genes. What can I say?
Yeah. And Shadow.
If they were a fusion of their temperaments, though, someone with the wild abandon of Sonic, but with the measured and thoughtfulness of Lanolin, they'd be terrifying. Good God. And Shadow totally isn't surprised. And this child's blood is actually just pure caffeine, so she's more powerful than he is by default.
Finally, I have created the ultimate life form. Who else but the ultimate life form could create the even more ultimate life form? Which makes me the ultimate life form ×2. Wow. Amazing.
And given her heritage, I guess she literally would be the black sheep of the family. Ah!
Chaos Sonic 1 has a question. TMNT Battle Tycoon is doing a crossover with SpongeBob. So what would a crossover with Sonic and SpongeBob be like? Keep in mind, it seems like SpongeBob and the characters are small critter size.
Never really got into SpongeBob. I didn't think it was funny. What very little I saw. I know, sacrilege. It's a media juggernaut. I'm the outlier here. I am wrong. I know.
The kids listening to this are gasping audibly right now, Ian.
I know. Your dear Uncle Ian is a Philistine. I understand that. But I never got into SpongeBob. So I don't really know. We're having an unsettling trend this episode. But okay, how do we salvage this?
We're having an unsettling trend that your media literacy is bad.
If they're all generally small critter size, okay, Eggman likes to grab small critters and put them into badniks, so that's what he's doing. You have SpongeBob in a motobug, I guess, or an underwater motobug.
Yeah,
water motobug, Jaws. Maybe we get a slew of water badniks, except. Everyone's an idiot in Bikini Bottom, so they're the worst run badniks ever. And Sonic doesn't want to go down there because it's underwater. Are you kidding me? He can't swim. And the sheer chicanery of SpongeBob ends up sabotaging Eggman's plans, and they save themselves by accident.
Mm-hmm. Then you get Mr. Krabs Meat.
Oh, Lord.
There you go. CTFeologist has a question. Where does the chaos in Chaos Gamma come from? I've always thought that's a reflection of his limbs constantly transforming for attacks, i.e. sharing the liquidity of chaos. But is there an in-universe explanation?
I assumed it was because he was running on a shard of a Chaos Emerald. Or that he wanted to run on one because Emerald had it. Oh, gosh, it's been so long. I need to review that again.
I mean, Sonic Battle's weird anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's soft canon, but and it might just be because he was a punchy boy, very violent, chaotic in his nature. But like in universe, why did Eggman specifically call him Chaos Gamma? I don't recall if there is a specific reason. I think it's just because he's compatible with Chaos Emeralds or ran on one at one point.
Eggman's just really into chaos. What can I say? He thrives on chaos. So he wanted him to sound cool. Works for me, I guess. Maybe it's like Chaos Cola, And our last question before we take a break is from Comic the Hedgehog. Body swap, Shadow, and Maria. Given that Maria was around when the air shoes were created, I imagine she'd be one of the few people who knows how they work, so she might actually have a grand old time.
Well, somebody had to test them before they put them on Shadow.
Fan artists, you know what to do.
And, she had chronic illness, a way to move around with greater ease. Why not? If anything, the question is, why wasn't she wearing her own pair? Gerald? Favoritism there?
Yeah. Maybe a little. All right.
And Shadow and Maria's body. You remember how in Shadow's game, if you enable 2-player mode, you could actually have Maria slap people?
Yes.
Well, Shadow-driven Maria is going to be breaking some faces. We don't have to worry. That's just a sick little girl. Oh, God! Oh, it hurts! No, why?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Just lording over them. What did the 5 fingers say to the face? What? Oh, God!
Yes. Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what happens.
That was the forehand. Don't make me use the backhand. I surrender. Oh, God.
I like how she has Shadow's voice, apparently.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, now that my hands are stinging from doing that, we're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned for a couple of patron-sponsored ads here on the BumbleKast. This episode is sponsored by Speed Radio, a bi-weekly podcast playing through nearly every single Sonic the Hedgehog game commercially released, analyzing how the series evolved and changed throughout its 30-plus year run. They go in-depth and chat about the development history, mechanical innovations, and level-by-level breakdowns of each game, with their own sense of humor sprinkled throughout. Speed Radio is available wherever podcasts can be found and through their website, speedradio.fireside.fm, for those who wish to download the episodes directly. This ad is sponsored by Daniel H. He'd like to introduce you to Miss Kelsey Reed. She's an ambitious local filmmaker, actor with dreams of starting her own YouTube studio. He's seen what she can do with a little budget and can't wait to see what she'll do with an even bigger one. Attached is a link to her GoFundMe page. She's got a little money in, but could use a little bit more. He's eternally grateful for those people who have believed in her and would like to boost those that have dreams too. Give the link a read over if you please, and he thanks you for your time. Link will be in the description of the episode below. We're back, and we're starting off with our weekly giveaway question. Follow us on our Twitter, our Tumblr, our Blue Sky, or our Facebook to have your chance to have your question answered here on the show for free. This week's winner is
Mr. Game Guy C from Twitter. I'm interested in creating a protagonist who's unlikable in-universe but still enjoyable to the reader. We've seen examples of comical characters we're intended to like end up being oddly, unbearably mean-spirited, and jerky ones who have supposedly done some awful things, but have actually done little, yet are still horribly punished like they did, like the unintentionally sympathetic. Do you have any general advice in crafting a sort of likable unlikability? Not to be confused with love to hate.
Right. It kind of depends on what you're doing here. Like, do you want your character to be the underdog that the audience is sympathetic towards in a world that is hostile towards them? Or do you want their unlikability to be easier to understand, but you don't really fault them for it? There is some nuance there. But I think what you can do in approaching this is the easiest way I can think off the top of my head to approach it is to have the world around him be unreasonable. That within their worldview, within the way they're interacting, he is the odd one out. His actions are what are causing consternation on their end. But we as outside observers are going, no, he's in the right. You guys are jerks. Or you don't see it from his perspective. We can, and therefore we understand why the hero, or rather the protagonist, really shouldn't be getting all this hate. And therefore you like him for what he's doing. You understand where he's coming from and why he's doing these things. But you also understand why the world he's in is becoming hostile. Mm-hmm. It's hard to nail down without, greater specifics, but that's one way you could approach it.
Alrighty. Dawson the Dachshund has a question. What if instead of being taken in by Sonic, Tails was adopted by the other iconic spiky-haired bad boy of the 90s, Bart Simpson? Does Bart have a new Millhouse?
You mean a Miles house?
Boo! Boo this man! Boo!
No, go on, boo. That is worth a boo. That's terrible. I mean, Tails... Bart's not really a mentoring individual. He's very much lost without much direction, rebel without a clue sort of thing.
I mean, he is a bad influence.
Yeah. but he's also very much tied to his own family. So it's hard to see Tails being taken in by Bart and not also being influenced by the rest of the Simpson household, which, dysfunctional as it is, I almost said is still loving and supporting, but I don't know how much I want to stand by that statement now that I say it out loud.
They try sometimes.
I mean, if Bart is the major influence, you have Tails getting into misadventures, and perhaps being the smarter of the two by far, he sees the consequences before they arrive and is further influenced by, Lisa and Marge to maybe warn Bart not to do that or question his decision making, maybe, sorta.
Mm-hmm.
And then, he just takes up a side job actually making sure Homer's job gets done while Homer is asleep.
Well, there is a chalkboard gag where Bart is continuously writing, "I will not encourage others to fly," over and over.
Well,
so
maybe there's a reason for that, and the Tails Isekai adventures begin.
No!
Springfield Gorge is very deep.
Oh, no.
And that skateboard was not meant to cross it.
Why do you hate Tails, Ian?
I don't hate Tails. Why did Bart endanger him? Why did Dawson endanger Tails? Leave a child in the supervision of a child. This is Dawson's fault.
Oh, good. Now we're resorting to blaming the questioners.
Yes. Maybe Sideshow Bob got a hold of him.
Do you want these people to stop giving us money, Ian? Because this is how you get people to stop giving us money. Meanwhile, some people in the chat are saying, it's about time someone questioned us. I don't know. We question you. We question you guys sometimes a lot more often than you think. But anyway. Here's one from Double L. Sonic the Zone Cop appears before 9 and asks him to join the fight against Mammoth Mogul as part of Titan Tales. Does he accept, or is his refusal the reason the Titan has no neck?
Kind of depends on where he is in his arc, but for the most part, I imagine 9 would be like, no, screw off. Oh no, the rest of the multiverse is going to collapse. I'm fine on the Clockwork Grim.
Yeah. He's like, oh, okay, that's fine. And one from Dove. Dear BumbleBros Pest Control, there seems to be a well-dressed, angry, science-themed platypus upon my roof. He has been yelling about being Isekai Hyde, whatever that means, for hours now. He won't stop and is demanding I provide him a ladder to get down. How soon can you get here to deal with this? What methods will you use?
Thank you for calling Bumble Bros Pest Control. For service in English, press 1.
Beep.
Thank you for calling Bumble Bros Pest Control. You have selected 1, indicating you would like to be talked to in English. If this is correct, press 1. If not, press 2. If you're already frustrated, hang up and try again.
1.
I was hoping you'd just say beep and go, you have selected 8. That was not an option. Anyway. So you got your 2 options right here, right now. Number 1, leave them up there. Shut all your windows so that it makes a little less noise. We'll be out there by next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what you can do is if you're near a active roadway, just put the ladder up, but make sure it's angled towards that road, and the problem will take care of itself.
Yeah. Or just hope you're near some fallen rocks.
Well, Nanette, we don't want Dove's roof to be damaged.
Ah, true.
Otherwise, we'll be there about next Tuesday, and we'll bring the spear gun.
Endabend has a question. In the past, I asked about the Egyptian-esque echidna architecture on Angel Island, but today I'm here to ask about the homes, windmills, and hot air balloons up on Ice Cap in Sonic Adventure 1. What's up with those? Did Eggman just build and abandon a ski resort for fun, or did those ancient warmongering echidna rascals just love shredding the gnar?
I honestly don't know. That might be one of those things you just got to chalk up to. That's what they decided to do with the level at the time.
Snowboarding was cool. It was the in thing at the time, man. It was the 90s going into the 2000s, man.
because it doesn't really make sense to be part of Angel Island for obvious reasons. And it doesn't really make sense to be part of Mystic Ruins because it's out in the wilds for the most part. It does not have any major infrastructure. Like, the train station there is ramshackle. That thing is put together by the archaeology department's like limited budget, and that's about it. So I don't think there's any alpine ski resort out there that just happens to be right next to where Angel Island landed. So
Yeah.
I got no good lore explanation why there's hot air balloons and all that.
They're just hanging out. I mean, the people just wanted to go hot air ballooning. Don't judge them. And GeoKnuckles has a question. Starline hires IMP from Hell of a Boss to target Sonic, Surge, and Eggman. How does the hit go in the end?
So we're 3 for 3 this episode. I have not watched Hell of a Boss.
I was going to say, Hell of a Boss is, I think, under your radar. There's the other one you know. What's the other one? Has Been Hotel? You do know that one a little bit, right?
I saw the pilot at some point in my lifetime.
A while ago.
Computer. Like, I know the very basic premise, but I have no idea what Imp is or what they do or any of that. I don't even know if they maintain the show tunes angle. So, sorry.
The IMP are apparently normal person level with guns. They don't stand a chance. That's what I'm being told. So they're like military, or they like gun? Is that what's going on? They're murder professionals, but I mean, this is Sonic, Surge, and Eggman.
Yeah, no. If they're like human level power with just normal firearms,
Nah. They're goofy assassins. We saw
Sonic and Surge.
Oh, go ahead.
In Sonic and Surge's case, they're just going to beat them up. In Eggman's case, he's going to lock them into some kind of device and use them as a power source. They're doomed.
Yeah, apparently. All right. Hearts13 has a question. During one hypothetical crossover between modern and adventures of adjacent, artificial offsprings of two Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik variants meet up. Ivo Robotnik Jr., android son of Toon Robotnik, Belle the Tinkerer, wooden animatronic daughter of Mr. Tinker, and Sage, evolved AI daughter of Dr. Eggman. How does a non-violent encounter between all three of them turn out, and how do they connect, talking about their dads?
It's been a long time since I saw any episode with Robotnik Jr., but I seem to remember he was just a good kid, a good egg, if you will.
to Eggman's bad egg? Robotnik's bad egg,
also,
not
I
Eggman.
seem to remember he was like straight up oval shaped, like an actual egg shaped child. Anyway.
I think he was, yeah. I mean, to be fair, Adventures of Robotnik was also pretty egg shaped.
Fair enough. So in that regard, I imagine he and Belle would just get along fine. And, Sage is fairly civil, so they might just have a lovely little conversation, compare notes. Sage is not particularly fond of the tone of voice that Belle and Junior take about their respective incarnations. Show a little bit of respect for the genius that's trying to conquer the world and take it over and do better. How? He's a genius. He'll figure it out. But otherwise, yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
He'll do
Maybe
better.
Sage even gets a few notes on what to suggest to her father later.
He'll do better for himself. That's all that really matters, though, I guess.
Did you have a good time, Pumpkin? Yes, father. By the way, have you considered, what was it, promotions?
Gotta roll those R's.
Yes.
It's important. Hero Squad has a question. What would happen if Silver met the Destructics?
Keyword there, met. Like, why are they meeting? Is Silver being conned into joining the bad guys, or are the Destructics on a mission and Silver's the only one who can stand in their way? Because what would be kind of neat is to give the Destructics a moment to show off that they are potentially powerful adversaries. I mean, parallels to the Chaotix. They should be able to hold their own a little. And then Silver can't really hold back because they're powerful individuals. And then Silver lets loose.
Oh boy.
And then the Destructics get destroyed.
Oh no. They've been Destructics. So much destruction. Destructics destruction. Lorenzo H. has a Dragoon question. Wynn defines herself invited to participate in a rock cutting contest at Ruby Point. Her opponent is a well-seasoned competitor. How would she tackle the battle and behave towards her opponent after the match?
She's going to be giddy because, boy, has she wanted to compete in rock cutting for a while. And for context, for those who haven't read, rock cutting is a kind of blood sport within the universe that revolves around a single dwarf, which is a rock-like race of people, against a team of stonecutters. And the point of the stonecutters is to make precision marks on the dwarf with their weaponry, kind of gladiatorial combat, while the dwarf is supposed to just smush them, to put not too fine a point on it. And Wind is into it because it's violent and it's high energy and it's fun. And man, she wants to compete so bad. And Foreign is going, remember, everyone thinks you're human. Everyone's supposed to think you're human. You can't go all out. If you do, you're going to kill somebody and blow your cover. And Wind's like, yeah, whatever, fine. Yeah. And so that's going to constantly be on her mind. It's gonna be a nagging thought. She really wishes she could just go out there and perform, compete, really show them what she can do. But maybe there's a little bit of fun in holding back. Yeah, sure, she'll do the mental gymnastics for that. Foreign, why you have to ruin all my meta? Anyway, so if it's a seasoned competitor, she's a big fan of the sport, so she's going to know the slab she's up against. Gonna love the chance to go toe to toe with them. The slab's gonna be happy that someone's actually showing them respect, not fanboy fawning over them, but also not just treating them as the target for the event. So there'd be that mutual respect there, and they'd be slugging it out, and Wind is taking hits that she really shouldn't be taking as a mortal. Surprise. And the dwarf, decides he's not going to call any attention to that because he's actually having fun for once in this sport, and they have a good old time. And Wind kind of throws it at the end because it's a solo fight. She can't really win as a lowly Hume. Certainly not a Drogo. No, not her. Why call the cops on that? No, normal Hume girl here, just very talented. And they go out for drinks later.
Yeah. Now, do the Stonecutters control the British Crown and keep the metric system down?
Not in this particular universe, no.
Oh, that's a shame. Mixer17 has a question. How would you play out a scenario where Orbot and Cubot get to do the dumb minion takes over for a day and turns out they're actually far more dangerous and competent than the boss trope? I think there was something similar in a Boom episode once, but I mean more serious in this case.
If it didn't happen in Boom, it should have happened in Boom, because I can see this happening in Boom. But if we're talking like for seriousness sake, I would still want to play it for laughs, because it has been established that Orbot and Cubot are the bumbling understudies. Mm-hmm. They are henchmen that are meant there to be the comedic foils. If they suddenly are more savvy and competent than Eggman, I feel like that undermines the dynamic. But you can still treat it as they are such goofballs that they are handling things in uncouth ways, unconventional ways, thinking outside the box, ways that Sonic would not be prepared for, because who would do that? Who would combine those weapons? Who would activate a trap at this point? It makes no sense. He's not prepared for that, and thus he's thrown off his game. He's thrown a little bit out of his rhythm, and that gives them the advantage. And maybe Cubot's just slapping buttons. The randomness is what catches Sonic off guard. But I wouldn't make them like actual legitimately hidden geniuses or masterminds.
Oh, so we're not going to have Grounder the Genius again?
We had it already. We don't need to do that again.
No, come on. It's so stupid it works.
Kind of like you, good buddy. Gee, thanks.
Speaking of stupid but it works, that's this show in a nutshell, and also the end of this show.
Thank you so much for everyone who supports the show over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and being a YouTube member. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
See you later. Can you hear
cyan laser because it's
for Popeye?
Shh. Hang on, sorry. Can you hear that outside?
What are you hearing?
I'm hearing an ice cream truck.
No, do you hear the sirens on my end?
No, I don't, because I hear this ice cream truck. That's
Okay.
right outside my... Apparently everyone else hears the sirens, but I'm just hearing an ice cream truck.
Okay. Yeah, can you close the window, please?
My window's closed. Yes, the sirens are coming for Ian.
Yeah, we had the window open because it's been an absolutely lovely day. And Leah's like, do you need to close the window? I'm like, as long as there's no trains or sirens, we'll be fine. Guess what happened?
And then there's a siren. But then right at the same time, there's a freaking ice cream truck out here. Probably can't hear it. I mean, my mic compressor's pretty good, but yeah, anyway. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org. All right, the ice cream truck is back. Can you hear that? Okay.
I can't, no.
Okay, other people in the chat can hear it, apparently. Oh, it's driving away now. Cassie, no, I'm not going out there. It's 110 degrees. Cassie, you weren't a child. That's why he kept driving. I'm not going out there. I have ice cream inside. I don't need to go out there.